Hey guys, it's Will. Hopefully you're having a great afternoon. Today we're going to drop into KULR technology stock. They've been making progress in battery tech and energy storage systems for space. This is a stock that has had a lot of hidden potential, but also could be a little bit of a gamble. Some of their partnerships are in aerospace, EVs, and defense, as well as NASA, and they could experience massive growth. But we're going to break down the numbers, the catalyst. It's a quick analysis today. But one of the things that Warren Buffett says, I believe it's if opportunities come, when they do, it's infrequently. And if it rains gold, put out the bucket, not the thimble. Well, KULR could be one of those opportunities, but there's one thing that could hurt them, and I'm going to get into it. But again, guys, if you're serious about watching me trade live each day at Market Open, StockMate is still available for that special access, lifetime access discount, along with the free t-shirt there if you want to grab your own. It's the second link in the description. Make sure to grab it before it's gone. Let's get into this. So KULR stock was at 27 cents, went up to $5.60. We covered it for most of the swing. It's been sold off the past basically month and a half, and then this entire month it has consolidated from left to right. You can see this previous resistance, then acting as a support, then acting as a support around this $1.80 range, and it's been acting as a support there, and it's approaching that support. Same thing with the resistance there as a previous support acting as a resistance. It's struggling to hold itself above this 200-day moving average. You see it push up, then sell back down. We'll see how it does at market open. I would anticipate that if it's going to bounce, this would be the area at which it would bounce, and that margin for profit would be somewhere in the range of about 35%. That's what the swings look like. Now we'll see if this is a validated support that it continues to validate as it has the past month. And this is kind of a critical moment as we've seen it really in this consolidation. We'd like to see it change direction. Possibly, one thing to consider is this is healthy for the stock. When you look at this type of trend that develops, is it consolidating more than you'd like to see? Of course. But you do see this direction that maybe it is not, what some people would say is a pump and dump. A lot of people said that back here when we started covering it. Obviously, we continue to cover it and it's gone up. And then definitely right here, people are feeling that way. But as we get into this consolidation, we see it in this level. And then, this is kind of the trend that maybe could continue. It's looking more promising. Now, if it gets up to previous highs, we're talking about 100 to 200%. But long term, that does seem quite possible. Here's a few reasons why. KULR stock has been improving year over year. You see the revenue increasing. They got partnerships with NASA as well as SpaceX, Lockheed Martin, and other companies like Molicel. They have very efficient battery tech that is made up of carbon composite cathode. They work with batteries down to the cellular level to withstand extreme temperatures. So if you guys are familiar, you could go take a look at their stock. They have some of their news. They also are an AI company. They have partners with Navy as well. I think there might be an Army contract or Marine contract in there as well. U.S. manufacturing is kind of their thing. They have a place over in Texas to consider. It's a lot of information to consider. But the thing that's going to really grow KULR long term, they got that SpaceX rideshare mission in 2026. We'll see how that goes. They're paying SpaceX to do it. But at the end of the day with KULR stock, one of the things that is a good long-term bet potentially is that their 90% of their money is in Bitcoin. I like the move. Here's where they could go wrong. You can see they got over 60 million. They've been increasing their shares. Okay, and if we take a look at Bitcoin today, let's just take a look at Bitcoin. I almost said stock. Bitcoin's shareholders are pretty happy today, up about 0.2%. You can see it's the same thing for Bitcoin as it has been for KULR stock. It's been consolidating from left to right. Pretty clear support, pretty clear resistance here. And we could see Bitcoin, maybe it bounces here. Maybe it starts to make this run. I think 2025, we could see it potentially continue up. Some people don't like this move. There's a couple reasons why this could be good. One reason why this could be terrible for KULR stock. The reason why this is good is because notoriously the dollar appreciates less than Bitcoin. Bitcoin's been a superior asset for a few reasons. One time I was talking to a CEO. He's the CEO of Invisalign. He told me one thing that I will never forget. And this was before I got a contract with them for this marketing that I was doing. This was back in 2017. I'm at the Fairmont in San Francisco. Um, it was a big moment. I got to go talk with the CEO and the CMO because we were doing marketing at the time. And one thing that he told me, his name's Joe Hogan, almost sounds like Joe Rogan. He said this was right when Invisalign was starting to get traction. Their stock was at $70. I was an investor at that point. They're now at like 300 or something. Align Technology. He said, look at the refrigerator, for example. The refrigerator used to be an ice box, and everybody would put their food in an ice box, and they wouldn't ask questions. Then what happened? The refrigerator came along, the refrigerator company came along, and it's so much easier. Why wouldn't everybody switch? It's better. But no, the icebox, even though it was hard to do, even though it was, you'd have to replace the ice all the time, even though you have to constantly be working to keep it cold, people wouldn't switch to this refrigerator that's automatic because why? They didn't understand the technology. They thought that's weird. Well, my icebox works fine. Now, the refrigerator company couldn't figure it out. They had this big stainless steel refrigerator. How do they do it? They paint the refrigerator white to look like the icebox. Now, stick with me. They painted the refrigerator white to look like the icebox, and everybody switched over to the refrigerator. Now, the reason I say this is because when he was telling me this is the whole point of the story, he said, digital always wins. Sometimes it takes extra time. His point in that talk was Invisalign was going to become an alternative that was preferred over braces, which has happened. But when you come to some of this tech that we're looking at here, and then you see they're preferring to put 90% of their money in Bitcoin as opposed to cash. Bitcoin's more digital. And if you bought Bitcoin, if you bought the same house, same amount of money for a house 5 years ago, it's 94% easier to buy it in Bitcoin today than had you held cash. So Bitcoin's appreciating. It has been year over year. The problem that could absolutely hurt KULR stock if they don't manage this right is if they start selling their own stock, they start selling their own shares and diluting investors to go buy Bitcoin. That's when things start to get ugly, because then you're not basing your company's value on the value that it's bringing. It's not based on this battery tech. It's not based on, oh, they got new partnerships, Department of Transportation, NASA, or any of these things, or their tech. It comes down to, if I want to buy Bitcoin, I'm not going to buy KULR stock. I'm going to buy Bitcoin, because it's not directly correlated. It's like a poor way to buy Bitcoin if you're buying KULR for that reason. And they don't want to be known as the company that people buy Bitcoin for. So right now, there's no indication that they're diluting investors. We haven't seen that they sold their Bitcoin. We don't have news on that, but we'll have to see what they do in the near term. I like the move long term. I think it could play a key role. It's just how they manage that cash could be, either very good or detrimental for them, kind of like how Tesla does it. Tesla doesn't see, they aren't seen as a Bitcoin company, even though they hold billions of dollars in Bitcoin. And so same thing with KULR. Hopefully they don't become that Bitcoin company like a MicroStrategy, but they become something. It's like, oh, they manage their money right. They put it in Bitcoin. So they're going to keep doing their tech stuff. And then hopefully, they have more appreciation of the capital because they're in Bitcoin as opposed to cash. That's how I'd like to see it. Hopefully that's continued sentiment for the investors. And hopefully some of those gains from Bitcoin, or they're only investing in Bitcoin if they don't have the ability to put it into their own tech, because I'd rather see them invest in their own tech than invest in Bitcoin personally. I think that's the way they grow. So guys, that's going to do it for this one. I appreciate you all. I think that it's going to potentially make a big move tomorrow, and we'll be watching it at market open and seeing if any opportunities present themselves. If you guys would like to be there at market open, it's the second link down below to join Stockmate. The other thing that happens when you join Stockmate right now is you get this free M logo growth tee from Stockmate Apparel. If you want the t-shirt, it's pretty epic, and you get one for free. You also get to watch us trade live, see my entries and exits at market open every day, Monday through Friday. And in the event that you'd like to surround yourself with other traders and investors, Stockmate is the place to do it. Again, it's that second link down below. Love to have you there, and see you tomorrow morning. Thank you guys so much for watching. If I earned a thumbs up, hit that like button. Do consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.